Hey friends, it is Beth coming back for another video. If you are new here, welcome, or welcome back if you're an old friend. I am doing a little bit of a combination of two videos for today. I've got some stops on our North Carolina yarn tour. We made a few stops yesterday, and then I'm going to catch you up on some of the things that I've been crocheting lately. So yesterday we drove up to the outlets in Mabane, and unfortunately the stores that we wanted to see are no longer there. It's been a little bit since we've been there. Sometimes we will stop there on our way home from visiting family in Illinois, and it's just been a bit. The Simply Southern outlet is gone. The Lee Wrangler stuff is gone, and it ended up being a big mess. We did stop at a secondhand clothing store while we were up there. My girls continue to be growing and they're constantly needing new pants, new shorts, all those things. So we bought quite a few jeans and leggings. And then my husband found a new, not new, but newer to us, recumbent bike. And so we got that into the van and brought that home, and then I gave away the existing recumbent that we had to a fellow friend with other chronic health conditions, and so it's gone to a good home. So things are a little rearranged on the other side of this camera because this is not only the craft room, this is also the exercise space. So we've got a treadmill, I've got my spin bike, we've got a recumbent bike, and the rowing machine. And so the new recumbent bike, it's just a smidge bigger, takes up a little bit more space, both width and length. And this room is just a disaster. So it needs some attention again. It is what it is. I move things from one machine to another so I can use whatever machine I've uncovered, and it just is what it is. So I wanted to then, after doing the shops, I wanted to stop at the Cozy Skein in Mabane. Last year it was part of the yarn tour. However, due to the torrential downpours and flooding that was going on in Raleigh, much different scenario from this year and our severe drought, that store had gotten flooded out. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've tried researching their Facebook page. I don't quite understand if they reopened at their old location and they're getting ready to move or what's happening, but we drove by what they've got listed as their address and it says coming soon. I'd also sent them a Facebook message and I didn't get anything back, but unfortunately they were not open. So from there we went to Freeman's Creative in Durham, and I really like that store. I really wish it was closer. It makes me think of a little mini Joann's. We were there last year. It's got a little bit of fabric, it's got a wall of yarn, and it has a whole bunch of little crafts in between. And I really just, it's small, it's cozy. It is not the vast endless of Joann's, but I really like their variety of things. So I picked up 3 little wool cakes, and by now you should recognize my theme of colors. I mean, this is what I do, and so I can't tell you how many shades of like these 3 colors I have from this yarn tour and last year's. It just is what it is. I am who I am. I can't help it. So this is Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash, 100% superwash wool. So I just love it. So machine wash cool, tumble dry, easy care instructions. This is a 4. And so just, I can hold them, just the prettiest. And they also match my glasses. We are doing some butterflies today. So this is from a third-party creator, and then there's matching earrings that are butterflies. So I've got butterflies on my watch because that's just who I am at this point. So that was one of our yarn stops yesterday. The other yarn stop was new to the yarn tour. It's called Warm and Fuzzy, and this was in Carrie, I believe. Yes. So I picked up, sorry for the crinkling, I should move this yarn bag out of my way here. So I picked up this bamboo pop. It says it's a 3, but it is a really, really thin 3. I just feel that that is a huge change from the 4. And let's see, what else is a 3 here next to me? That's a 4. This is a 4. Do I not have another 3 next to me here? This is a 3. So, ooh, I got hook and all here. So if we just look at this loop here, so that is a 3 there, and that is a 3 there. Are we gonna focus? I just feel that this new blue is so much thinner. So we will see. It may not quite work for the intended purpose. And then the other thing I got, I've tried doing the granny squares, and I've looked at some of those card decks, and I bought a card deck last year. And as we're walking the store, my daughter's like, I'm pretty sure you got this one in the white box last year. So why don't you get this one? So came home. Guess what I got last year? So now I have to figure out what to do with my second box. Maybe that would be good for a giveaway down the road as I reach a subscriber level or something like that. But for the meantime, I have 2 copies. So that was the only 2 stops for the yarn tour we did this weekend, because I wanted that third one, but it just didn't happen. And that was, I skipped another one that I just didn't feel welcomed in. I'm not sure if it's because I brought the children with or what it was, but I just didn't feel comfortable in the store last year. So I skipped that for this year. The parking situation was weird. I was very concerned that I was going to get a ticket parking because it wasn't quite clear on where I could park or where I couldn't park in this downtown area, and it just wasn't worth the hassle. Definitely, you know, there's a lot of time and money invested in traveling to these different stores, and certainly if I'm not going to feel welcomed and comfortable in a store, that's not someplace that I want to revisit. So that catches up on the yarn tour. And so now, what have I been crocheting? So as I've previously said, I really got into a funk with all of the job situation this spring. My employer wasn't paying on time, and getting paid late means bills are late, things are stressful. It's just been a lot. And then as the job change, I am now much more tied to this computer because I don't have appointments. I'm just calling people and then they're calling me back. I can't necessarily walk away from my computer the way I could before, when I had an appointment at, 3 o'clock, and I would talk to them for 10 minutes, do my paperwork, and I would then walk away, change laundry, do things like that. I don't have that same sort of flexibility, the same sort of timing things. So now I just call people, they answer, they don't, I move on to the next person. And I'm struggling with that. Also working 5 days a week as opposed to 3 or 4, depending on the week. And I don't have as much time during the week to do things where I could have sat and crocheted while the kids were doing schoolwork or things like that. I also am not taking the kids to dance because my daughter is now driving. So where I previously would sit in the car and crochet while they were in class, I am now home. I have other responsibilities, things to do at a house, and I'm kind of brain dead by the time it gets to the evening some days, and I just haven't been sitting down and crocheting. So I have been getting better recently. I told you previously that I had started some turtle parts back in the Olympics, watching the Olympics this January, February. And so I finally got all of these critters done. So they have heads, they have eyes, they are done. This is a modified pattern from Happy Turtle Crochet, modified from the Daisy Turtle pattern. And then I made a red, white, and blue one. So these are some patterns, or some crochet that I got done. Underneath them, I'll show you real quick here. My mom works or volunteers at the library back home. And as they purge books and they have different sales and stuff like that, she's able to grab books before they end up in a dumpster. And this is one of the things she pulled for me. My goodness. So at some point I will crochet Winnie and the Pooh Gang. My daughter's nursery, I had collected a number of Winnie the Pooh and friends, and then I had made her a blanket, just the fleece tie sort of things, but nonetheless, Tigger and Pooh are some of my favorites. So I am super excited to crochet these guys. They're gonna take a hot minute. So Pooh has 26 rounds per leg. The body is 86 rounds. So they're gonna take a bit of time there. So the next thing that I crocheted as I was working to get out of my slump thing, I have been slowly catching up on the YouTube videos. So I've been slowly catching up on the YouTube videos that I have missed for roughly 4 months now, just in my little funk. And so the first person that I have been catching up with is Tammy, Crafty Mompreneur, and caught up with her. And she has been making some market bags and some cozies, like cup cozies. And I thought those would be a fairly mindless thing that I can even do at my desk once I've finished making my phone calls and while between projects, between meetings, whatever. So and this is where'd my other one go? Did I bury it? I did. This is a free pattern on Bags by Bento's blog. So this one is the first one that I did, and it's a multicolor yarn. This is the Lion Brand Mandela in the colorway Nifflers. Those Nifflers are trouble. So this is the first one that I did, and then I crocheted some other things, but this is the second one that I just finished. This one is bigger. So this one is more true to the pattern. This one I did modify to make bigger. And so these two came out of that one large skein. And so you can see the size difference here. So I'm getting it into the frame of the two bags. So super brainless, super easy. Takes very little concentration to do this. So these were good projects for me to get that going. And then I picked up some of, let me find it, Peggy's, where are they? Too many patterns. Here's the, oh, so the Safari is not Peggy's. This is from Green Frog Crochet. So Green Frog Crochet's patterns here. And so I did the lion. And I'm not sure if I did an extra row on his forehead or if my mane is just too tall, but he's got a forehead on him. Super cute, nonetheless. And then I did a tiger. So it talked about using gold and brown in the pattern. And so that is what I did to start, but I do have some orange and black to make another one. So those guys are cute. I was thinking they were Poggy's Place things, but those are not. That's the Green Frog Crochet. And then the other things that I have been doing are the cup cozies that I saw Crafty Mompreneur do. And so let me pull up whose these are so that I can. It is called the Meadow Cup Cozy from LTC Cuties. And so LTK Cuties. I can't read their script font. And so this is just a cute little cozy here, and some different stitches that I was not previously doing. And this one has then a reverse crab stitch at the top. The other ones I have been doing the alternative of the half double crochet. So I have made just a boatload of these, all in sparkle yarns. But just making a bunch of these. These will turn out to be cute gifts. I did also get some little decals to put on them as well for fun things there. So getting warm. Whew. It is still 100 degrees in North Carolina. We need a break. So I think that catches you up on the things that I've been making. And I do now have another market bag in progress. I'm using a much chunkier yarn this time. I feel like, you know, some of these yarns that I've been gifted and I don't know what to do with, that just is a perfect project for them. Will they sell? I don't know, because they do take like 3.5 hours to do. I timed myself on per row of these chained rows down here, and it takes me like 4.5 minutes to go the whole way across. And then it takes like 9 minutes to do a full loop for the edging and straps. So by the time you put all of that together, it's taking like 3.5 hours. I'm not a slow crocheter, so if you are somebody who crochets a little slower, it's going to be even more of a time commitment. So I'm not sure how well they will sell in the $30 to $40 price point. By the time I account for my time and the supplies, you know, we've got quite a bit invested in this. So usually my plushies are much smaller, or if they are bigger, they still don't take a ton of time because I'm using a fatter, chunkier yarn and it just works up fast. So those will be one of the more expensive things in my booth. I do not have any shows on the books for this fall, which is a little bit anxiety producing, quite honestly. I usually have something somewhere committed, and I've got nothing right now. My daughter's dance convention weekend, is the same weekend as the poultry festival that I did last year. Another weekend that we are headed home to see some family is where a number of markets that I've done in the past have scheduled their events. So I am a little concerned about this upcoming market season. And I do a lot of PTO events, and the PTOs aren't really into planning methods, into planning season yet. So hopefully the PTOs will get their dates early August and get moving on that, and I can commit to those. Hopefully they don't overlap these other 2 weekends. I do have our church event penciled in. That was a really good event for me last year. They haven't set out official things. I have also volunteered or, tried to talk to people saying that I would help with the vendor side of things, and I haven't heard back from people. A number of the planning committees are on the Spanish speaking side, so I don't understand for those meetings. So we'll see if they reach out to me or where that goes. But I'm hopeful that I can keep progressing forward here and get some more things created and done and get back into my production groove. So that is it for today. I hope everyone stays cool, stays safe. There is so much heat and drought throughout all over. Even places that have had some monsoon weathers are still under water precautions because there just hasn't been enough. And hopefully everybody stays safe. So let me know what you've been up to, how summer is going for you, and we will check in with you next time. Take care.